Welcome to the Wine Fine Talks. Today we have a very special guest with us from Chile, Viviana Navarrete. She is the chief winemaker for Viña Leyda and Viña San Pedro, which are part of the larger VSPT wine group. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Carolyn, for the invitation. Super happy to be here today.
You've got a very exciting project going on centered on Pinot Noir. I'd love for you to tell us about that.
Well, it's a fascinating project. This is from Viña San Pedro winery, and it's located 600 kilometers down south from Santiago, from our capital. And the thing is, I would say this project has two beautiful things. First is the people involved in it, and the second is that it's done in a valley which is booming nowadays in Chile with a very little tradition in viticulture. So just to give a little bit of context, San Pedro Winery has been working strongly toward sustainability since a long time ago, but there was one pending thing, that it was social sustainability. So they came and thought, why don't we use viticulture as a tool or a vehicle to develop the quality of life of indigenous community, to improve their lives. And it happens that in Chile there's a big population of indigenous community, and most of them lives down south in Chile, in the Araucanía region. So we went there and started interviewing different communities, all of them Mapuche. Mapuche, the translation in Spanish, it means people of the land. And all of the communities are different in a way, but they have something in common, that is this connection to nature, to the land. Like imagine they pray to the land, they speak about Mother Earth. They don't pray to the Lord, to heaven, they pray to the land. So they have a special connection to nature. And we started interviewing lots of community, and we ended up with one that is named Buchahueco. And it happened to be that they are located in the coastal area of Malleco Valley. So it was really surprising and exciting for us, because we say, we're going to start helping indigenous community, bringing them into the wine world. They didn't have any knowledge of viticulture at all. And at the same time, it was really challenging, because we said, we are arriving into a new valley in Chile. It's not new because it exists since 20 years, but there's little tradition. Few hectares planted there. There are only 150 hectares planted. So it's a tiny valley, and it's cold weather because it's southern. So in Chile, southern, it means cooler, and it is at 38 kilometers to the Pacific Ocean. So in a way, it has this maritime influence. And we were very happy to start with this. We started back in 2015. We started with two families. We invited them to start with this project. The special thing of this project is that we hired resources from the government and from the private world, in this case, San Pedro Winery. So we joined these resources. We lent them money to them to start planting the vines, making the design of the plantation, the irrigation system, everything. And believe me, they didn't know anything about viticulture. We taught them since the beginning, and now they are beautiful producers of grapes. They make all of the work by themselves and by their families and neighbors. Every family owns 2.5 hectares, like it's their own garden. They open their door of their houses, and their garden is the vineyard. So imagine how care they put in every single work they're doing in the vines. Like they do the destemming, the pruning, everything by themselves. We started with 2 families, and now we're working with 11 families. So we are growing, very responsible, year per year, inviting more people to get here in this project. And what happened to them is that they normally live in poverty, in difficult conditions to improve their lives. And it happens that the younger generation emigrates to bigger cities, because in that village they don't have possibilities to grow or to improve their lives. So it was something really painful or sad. But in this way, they are now the owner of the vineyards. They are producing grapes. They learn a new business, and the newest generation are learning this, and they're going to stay there.
So those wines that they are growing and tending with your oversight goes into making this wine.
Exactly.
And when was the first vintage of this wine?
In 2018 was the very first one.
I see. And this is called Tayú.
Yes.
Am I pronouncing that correct?
Yes.
Great. So this is a wine that, now you know about it, you know of it because it's your baby, but what makes this wine special from an international perspective?
I think what stands out of this Pinot Noir is two things. First, the aromatic profile is not what you find typically in Chile. Mainly the cool climate areas or the cool climate valleys in Chile are giving Pinot Noir that are fruit driven, you know, like very these cherry or raspberry aromas, yes, and very elegant in fruity in style. But I would say that here, southern in Malleco, in the coastal area of Malleco, the Pinot Noir shows more the earthy character and more leafy aromas. When I first did the first vintage, I make Pinot Noir from Leyda Valley, and I have a whole set of tanks. And I just in the fermentation was trying Pinot Noir from Leyda. And when I came to the tanks where we were fermenting Pinot Noir from Malleco, I smelled another profile of aromas. And I said, this is not fruit profile, this is another thing. And I couldn't get it. But then in the second or the third time that I visit the vineyards, I started to feel the same aroma while I was walking through the rows. And I look in the ground, and there's a lot of local herbs that we call paico or poleo. It's like peppermint, almost like lavender aromas. Yes. And the vineyard is full of that grows naturally. You know, it's like the tea or the water that your grandmother gave you when you were sick of stomach, that herb. And I found a lot in this wine. So I love when you have something local or of your landscape transmitted into the wine.
Yes, yes, the expression is like you are right there. I love that, because quite right, this does not smell like the typical Pinot Noir I associate with Chile. There's an earthiness for sure, and that herb is, as you described the herb, I get it in the glass.
You get it?
So let's taste. The nose is so beautiful. It's interesting because, you know, Pinot Noir can be quite lean. This has flesh, there's depth, there's mid-palate concentration, and yet without compromising that elegance, the lift that you do want, the drinkability of Pinot Noir. Beautiful wine.
I thank you very much. Yeah, what I like is that what you say, like the elegancy, but also it has this like grip sensation, yes, in the palate.
And finish too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not only a fresh Pinot Noir or a vibrant Pinot Noir, but it does have some texture, you know. And we try to work the vinification to enhance that property. That I think it comes from the granitic soil, because here we have granitic soil that has a lot of quartz incrustation. So it helps to bring this texture, which I think is important in Pinot Noir.
Yes, yes, there's almost like the grip on the finish is almost like a chalkiness.
Exactly.
Which is lovely because it holds the fruit in place really and leaves the palate nicely seasoned. Like I would love to have this with food. Out of curiosity, what's your favorite thing to pair with this wine?
Oh, I love pairing Pinot Noir with risotto with mushrooms, because every preparation that has these like mushroomy aromas, I think it goes good with this Pinot. And I also like this big ravioli filled with pumpkin and lavender. Because it's soft, but the lavender enhances the juiciness of the wine. And I think this wine also has that kinds of aromas of lavender.
I love that. Well, yeah, suddenly I want risotto. This is fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Carolyn. Thanks you very much.